What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com. We got a special guest for you today. We're talking hockey, and Stephon Perreault, local hockey expert there, is here to join us today talking about the hockey. He went 8-0 in the first round, so we said, hey, we got to have him on. He contacted our own Mike Somich, and Somich said, get on there with him. He would actually be here, Somich, under the weather today, so I get to fill in, and that's all right. I like talking hockey as well. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com. I hope you're enjoying the NHL preview videos we've been doing. We're going to keep doing a lot of these. It seems like our local hockey expert, Stephon Perreault, he's got us covered, and we've got a couple of good bets for you already. And let's go to the Battle of Canada for this video. It's Edmonton. It's Calgary. You know this thing is going to be intense. Both these teams had to go 7 games to get here. They really earned their way into the second round. All right, Stephon, Edmonton, Calgary. What are we looking here?
Battle of Alberta, first time in 31 years. I think if you're a hockey fan, you look for these games during the regular season. As a hockey fan in general, you couldn't ask for a better second round matchup between Calgary and Edmonton. Even if you're not a Canadian hockey fan, it's going to be awesome hockey. You have Connor McDavid on one side, Johnny Gaudreau on the other side. It's very star matched, and the province of Alberta is going to be rumbling in the next 2 weeks. From a betting perspective, if you look at the hard numbers, it was really hard to interpret data just due to the goaltending that Jonathan Quick and Jake Ottinger provided the Stars and the LA Kings in the first round. Both of the goalies just played unbelievable, especially Jake Ottinger in Game 7. That was probably the best goaltending performance I have ever seen someone put on in NHL playoff history. So back to goaltending, that's going to be a huge factor in this series. Are we going to get Mike Smith, the last month of the regular season for Edmonton, or are we going to get Mike Smith, who is throwing pizzas up the middle, letting in shots from the red line? Like it's Mike Smith can either play like a modern day Patrick Waugh, or he's going to be Jonas Johansson. And if you don't know who Jonas Johansson is, look up his goals expected. I think he plays for, I think he actually plays for Florida now. I think he's Florida's third string goalie. He was in Colorado, so I got to watch him. We call him the over king. Automatic over if he's in net. So that's a very interesting factor. And then Jacob Markstrom on the other side, he didn't have as much work against Dallas. He made some big saves when need be in Game 7. But he also let in a lot of soft goals, and it's hard to interpret that just because when Dallas is only putting up 25, 27 shots a game, it's hard for a goalie to stay in rhythm. So that's going to be a really interesting factor, and something I'm going to look at the first couple games of the series to kind of get a feel of, where Smith and where Markstrom's at, where Edmonton's D is at versus what kind of style of hockey Calgary's playing. Calgary can be a team that beats you any which way. They can beat you in 1-0 games like they did against against Dallas, or they can play that high-flying offense and beat you 7-6 if we're reverting to the regular season. Obviously, Connor McDavid, he's on a god level right now. He took over the series against LA, and it's going to be super fun to watch, but he looks like a man possessed right now. As far as Calgary's Stars are playing, they were struggling to score goals. In the past, we've seen guys like Sean Monahan, who had a down season, Johnny Gaudreau, and even Matt Tkachuk this year, who had an over 100-point season. They really struggled to produce offense against Dallas, who obviously played a trap style of game. They didn't give up much, but, expecting I think everybody was expecting that series to be pretty much a blowout, and the top Stars didn't really produce much, didn't get much going. So it's going to be interesting to see, the first couple of games, how this series plays out. Another thing, and I know I'm rambling on a little bit, is Leon Draisaitl. He played a little bit injured game 7, I'm hearing. So his health level is going to be, a major X factor. Having another 100-point guy and pretty much the third, fourth best player in the world right now, as most people would call him, being at 60% or 100%, it's going to make a huge difference. As far as prices go, I actually, even though I don't really think, it's hard to say. Calgary's at -190, Edmonton's at +160. I actually price this series closer. I think it's going to be a much closer matchup than that. I have Calgary priced at -130, so I do have an edge on Edmonton. This is a coin flip series for me, just being the Battle Alberta, the star power matchup. And, it really is going to come down to goaltending and defense to see which team can actually produce more. Obviously, I think Oilers have an edge offensively. Calgary has an edge defensively. Or sorry, did I say that wrong? Edmonton has offensive edge. Right. Calgary has defensive edge.
Yep.
That's what I meant. So my pre-series bets, I just have a small play right now on Edmonton +160 for the series. I have a little bit larger play on Edmonton +1.5 games at close to even money at -120. And right now I'm going to wait until after game 1 to really just get a feel for it. And I'm kind of hoping actually Calgary takes game 1 at home and we can get a very good, probably plus money on Edmonton to come back and win the series, or Edmonton to take it to 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I think you're right about that being a series that could go the distance. I like that +1.5 games a lot. And I think, when you look at this on paper, it is a clash of styles. And I agree. Watching a game or two before you bet this probably isn't the worst thing, because I think that the tempo of the game, how the game is played, is really going to make the big difference. Can Calgary kind of shut down that top line and then control the game that way? That was my worry. And I'll ask you, you're going to bet Edmonton, and I don't hate it, but the depth of the Edmonton forwards, we know how good they are up top, right? They're top 6. They're fantastic. Can they roll 4 lines and be successful against Calgary? What do you think?
Yeah, well, absolutely. That's, Calgary definitely does have more depth. They have a lot of guys banged up right now. Just against that Dallas series, there's a very, very heavy series, which I think is going to play into more of Edmonton's hands. That, the Dallas Calgary series, it was just heavy hockey, whereas the LA Edmonton series wasn't. There was some physicality for sure, but it wasn't as heavy as the Dallas Calgary series. And when that series wrapping up just 2 days ago now, I can't help but think that Calgary is going to come in a little bit beat up and a little bit tired. And, Edmonton getting that extra day and not playing as physical of a series, I do think is going to play into their hand. And, I'll be the first one to admit, I don't always bet what I think is going to happen. I try to bet where the numbers make sense. So even though I do think Calgary is a better team, there is a price advantage on Edmonton. And with a series that I think is just going to be very, very back and forth and just a huge rivalry, it has game 7 written all over it, which is why I love the Edmonton +1.5 play. And if you want to wait until after game 1 and see what happens, if Calgary ends up taking that game, you're probably going to get Edmonton +1.5 for +150, which I think is going to be a great price. Or, you could even push it to Edmonton +2.5 for probably closer to that -120, -130 range.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do. Like you said, if you think a matchup's fairly even and you're getting plus money, then you got to take that shot, and that's how you make money right there. So, all right, that'll do it for this edition of Geez, now I'm the one stuttering over here. I'm supposed to be the professional here. That'll do it for this video covering the series between Edmonton and Calgary. And like Stephon said, it is going to be rocking in Alberta. It's going to be a ton of fun. So thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Stephon, for joining us for this video. If you like it, hey, we've got series previews for all 4 of these NHL series coming up. So make sure to take a look at those. And thanks everybody, and good luck if you're betting Calgary and Edmonton.